What is up? It is Boleyn. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a great Sunday, whatever you're doing. We've just had our Sunday dinner here, so I'm chilled, I'm happy, and it is time to get into some more drama, more mess surrounding this whole James Charles allegations thing. But first of all, more importantly, I'm going to stand up and show you my outfit because this is cute. I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that pink leopard print dungarees are not cute. I'm giving you very kind of Bob the Pansexual Builder vibes today with no mug, no wig, but I'm going to get into it. So what I do have is notes in my little trusty drama notebook here. You know, I've been to school, I've taken all my notes, done my revision, we are prepared. So James Charles, one of his high school friends came out, made a YouTube video. I haven't seen really anyone make a drama video about this alone yet, but I'm going to get into it right now. One of James Charles' old high school friends came out, made a YouTube video about what it was like being friends with James Charles. James Charles constantly going after straight guys, using pretty girls to try and get nudes from said straight guys. All this kind of really messy stuff. I'm just going to get some makeup on while we chat. If you're not aware, if you're not already caught up on this situation, which I think most people on the internet are by now, James Charles has been accused of things like grooming, underage fans, sending nudes to underage fans. It's all kind of serious stuff. Stuff that could potentially be a crime in some parts of America, I believe. But this person who was a high school friend of James Charles, he's called Bad Benny Glam, and he came out, made this YouTube video. He did say he never thought he would be making an exposed type video on James Charles, their friendship, all of that stuff. But he went on to say quite a lot in his video. I've watched the whole thing. Honestly, he said quite a lot about James Charles' kind of character. I don't know, girl, some of it was quite telling. Bad Benny Glam, his video is titled My Experience Being Friends with James Charles. In the video, one of the parts that struck me was Benny is talking about being friends with a straight guy who James Charles apparently really had the hots for, really liked. And apparently James Charles would do things like use pretty schoolgirls, you know, pretty girls from his class, to try and get nudes of these straight boys for himself. James, you know, this is kind of sketchy if you ask me, but I'm going to roll you that little clip just so you guys can see it in case you haven't already seen Benny's video.
About the straight boy that I was friends with, that I was like in love with and like I thought could be gay. He tried to finesse him to date him, and he has a straight boy fetish. Like, that's his thing. Like, he catfished a lot of Bethlehem soccer team. And this is all like, I don't have like receipts or anything because this was just so long ago, but I remember he would talk about it. He would say he would use like a pretty girl, like one of his friends or something, and get nudes through the girls. Like would act like he was them to receive the nudes. Grow up. Like, who does that? Like, that's so like weird. That's so predatory. And honestly, it really took this whole situation with Tati happening for me to really open my eyes and say, you know what? Like, he is predatory. And I don't know why I didn't realize it sooner. I guess I just stopped caring really because we weren't really like friends anymore. I didn't really like think too much about it. But like, he genuinely feeds on straight men. Like, he preys on them and wants them to do things with him, and he thinks because he's a celebrity he can get away with shit like that. And that's just like the craziest thing to me, because it's like, you can't do that. Like, as a person, like as a gay man, like you can't be in the LGBT community and do weird shit like that. Like, gay men are so far behind, like as far as like people like even respecting us or even caring. And same with like trans people, like lesbian people, everything. Like, it takes so much for people to even, for straight people to even like respect any of us, and doing that just literally pushes us back even more because it just makes us look like creepy. Like, that's literally so strange. But other than that, I knew like all of his business. Like I knew how much he made with the CoverGirl deal.
So this guy from James Charles' past, his ex-friend Benny, he's come out and spilled a lot of tea in his video. Honestly, if you haven't watched it, I do recommend going and checking it out. He has, although he doesn't have receipts, he does have pictures of him and James Charles together as teenagers. He goes into details like saying they used to do makeup together and hang out together, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is somebody who actually knew James Charles very well back in the day. There were a few other things that Benny said in this video as well, which were quite kind of alarming. There was things like, oh, he was saying James Charles really forgot where he came from as soon as he got famous. He said that James Charles kind of dumped him, didn't speak to him, all that stuff. And then he also said that he's now embarrassed that he was ever friends with James Charles in the first place. It's quite a lot. Like, there's a lot in the video. I do recommend going and watching that video if you haven't seen it. I will link his video down below in the description. But there was also a really, really funny part in this video where he literally grabbed his James Charles palette and he was shading the fuck out of it. He's going, oh, this shade's horrible, this shade doesn't work, this shade, that, blah, blah, blah. Seriously, go and watch it. It gave me a little giggle. You know, I'm not saying that I hate the James Charles palette or anything, you know, I bought it, I use it, you know, but Benny was shading the fuck out of that palette. A little bit messy, but, you know, it wouldn't be a kind of exposed video if he didn't get a little bit messy somehow, right? Benny also said the reason that he's never been to like any tea channels or drama channels about James Charles before is because he really wanted to see the good in James. He kind of, you know, put his thoughts about James Charles being predatory and stuff out of his mind and wanted to hope that James Charles was going to be better than what he has been, apparently. You know, he says he wanted to see the good in him, so there's that. But I don't know, girl, you know, maybe it's a case of now James Charles is famous. Maybe some of his old friends are jealous. You never know with people. But, you know, from watching Benny's video, it just confirms everything that we've heard about James Charles. It confirms everything that we've heard about James going after straight boys, younger boys, everything, you know. It just confirms all this stuff that we've heard over the last few days, the last few years, you know. So is it all wrong? It can't all be wrong, surely. He even talked about, you know, how James Charles' career started, saying, oh yeah, his career started on a lie anyway. He came to the conclusion that James Charles is just not a good person. His words, not mine. You know, came to the conclusion James Charles is not a good person, and he also said that James Charles is a problem. So, you know, you guys do with that what you're gonna, you know, I'm not going to tell you guys what to think or anything like that. You know, you've all got your own minds, but this is what is going on in the sort of beauty drama space at the moment. So this is what people are talking about. But moving on from Benny's video, there was also something else that I kind of misremembered the other day. I talked about how James Charles went on the Logan Paul podcast, which is called Impulsive. And I talked about how James Charles had gone on there and said that he liked older guys. I got that bit wrong because I knew I remembered James Charles talking about the kind of guys that he liked, but I got that little bit wrong. It was actually James Charles saying he himself feels mentally like he's older than he is. He feels like, you know, 40 years old. So he goes looking for younger guys. Here's the clip.
For me, I'm 21, but like I said, I have the mentality of a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm much more mentally and emotionally mature than a lot of people my age. I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like, I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19, that looks a little bit old.
So that's James Charles himself confirming that he does go for guys that are 18, 19 years old. Yet he's now been accused of going after 14 and 16 years old, which is, you know, illegal because they're minors. But he's also admitted it when he came out with his kind of PR statement about the whole thing, which I read out in my video the other day, yesterday. You know, so James is admitting what he's done. He is admitting chasing younger guys. But it's always, oh, these guys have lied to me. These guys have lied to me. But is the fact that these guys have lied to him important in all this? Or is it that James Charles just should not go on social media chasing after guys? You know, really, I think that is more the case. I think that is more the point. You know, James Charles should go and use a professional dating service or Grindr, Tinder. You know, you've got all these apps for gay guys to date on, yet he's using Instagram and TikTok. And, you know, social media is not the thing to be hooking up with your teenage fans on. This is the thing that's concerning in all this. He's using his social media rather than using, you know, dating apps, hookup apps. Like, dude, get it together. I don't know what else we can really say about this situation. You know, this kind of thing, it's a topic that makes a lot of people very angry. When you talk about grooming, and especially when there are like minors involved, it's a topic that makes a lot of people very angry. And, you know, I understand that anger. I really, really do understand that anger. You know, I hope I'm not coming across too kind of aggressive or too angry here, but it's a topic that is going to make people angry because of the nature of it, because kids are involved. But even if this is a topic that makes people angry, does that mean that we shouldn't talk about it? I don't think so. Because really, you know, as Benny said in that video clip that I showed you from his video, gay guys have enough stigma anyway surrounding, you know, hookups and all of that. So what James Charles is doing, if this is what James Charles is doing, then is that adding to the stigma of gay guys being kind of predatory and going after straight guys? Yeah, it is. So I do think that what Benny said there was right. I do agree with him. You know, people on the LGBT spectrum, yeah, you know, we don't need to be set back. And James, if he was really using social media to groom people, to kind of hook up with people, especially minors, especially kids, you know, it's just, like Benny said, setting the community back, and it's going to make people, straight people, think that, you know, all gay guys are like that, which is not the case. And with that, I really don't think there's a lot more that I can say on the situation right now. So I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. I'm going to go finish my face, and I'll be back later on with a different Beauty Guru drama video. So I'm going to say take care. Love you guys. Thank you so much for taking time to check out my video, and I will see you on the next one. Mwah. Bye.